What's going on, Sports Wars? This is Ryan with RK Outpost and GeeksandGamers.com, and I want to give you guys a recap of what happened this Saturday in college football. Now, we're getting down to it where we really need to start looking at the college football playoff and what's going to happen, who's going to be in, who may be on the outside looking in, and I think we had some things happen this week that could really determine that in the long run. So let's get into it right now from top 25, top to bottom. Uh, Alabama. I know we got a couple people who like Alabama on this channel. I don't know if you guys have seen that at all, but they came in with an easy win, crushing a struggling Arkansas team. We knew that would happen. All right. LSU and Auburn, huge game. Huge game that has huge ramifications going on in that SEC West division. So, I mean, LSU did what they had to do at home. They beat Auburn. Huge win for them. Really puts them right up there where they need to be. They're going to be challenging Alabama for the SEC West. And then you look down, you got Ohio State destroyed Wisconsin. Wisconsin, who 2 weeks ago, we were looking at them completely different. Now they're done. And Ohio State is sitting pretty right there. We'll talk about who Ohio State might be looking at a little later. Boston College and Clemson. Clemson destroyed them. Clemson is on the fast track. We'll see. I don't think they're going to struggle too much, but they control their own destiny right now for the college football playoff. Oklahoma, big upset. Oklahoma, Kansas State beat them at home. Not a terrible Kansas State team. A fine team. Not something that anyone thought Oklahoma would be struggling with. Oklahoma loses. Jalen Hurts loses. A loss on his resume for the Heisman. Didn't have a great game. Had a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns. But, so there you go. They tried to make a comeback at the end. Just couldn't do it. Penn State beat Michigan State. Away game. Big win for Penn State. Now, they're going to be going up against Ohio State before getting to the Big Ten Championship. So that is going to be a big matchup to see who goes to the Big Ten Championship to likely, at this point, play Minnesota. Right? Now, Michigan and Notre Dame, both overrated as hell. This is a primetime game. Michigan gets a monster win against an overrated Notre Dame. Michigan shouldn't be ranked this. Notre Dame sure as hell shouldn't have been ranked 8th. Jim Harbaugh, this happens after a week where we were speculating a lot about if Jim Harbaugh was going to stay at Michigan or what. It's going to be an interesting situation going forward and in the offseason. But when you look at this, Michigan comes with a big win. But I don't think that'll boost them up too much in the rankings. But, it could, I suppose, because they're always overrated, just like Notre Dame. Oregon comes away with a big win against Washington State. Oregon had to come back to beat Washington State. And, they're at 11. You look down below at Utah. They're both 7-1. Both vying for control of that Pac-12. Now, the Pac-12, again, I think is going to be left with a team outside of the college football playoff when you look at it. I just don't know if either of those teams are going to be able to push up enough to make noise. Texas loses to TCU. Texas not quite back yet. Not quite back where some of us would have liked to think they're at. Minnesota, like I said, big win against Maryland. So now you got Minnesota and you got Ohio State or Penn State probably looking to clash in that Big Ten title. So should be interesting. One of those teams going to be in the college football playoff. And then Iowa, good win against a bad Northwestern. Man, Pat Fitzgerald and Northwestern, such expectations for them. Pat Fitzgerald's pretty well respected around the country, especially in the Big Ten. Rough year for them. Appalachian freaking State. Who knew who Appalachian State was until they beat Michigan like 10 years ago or whatever? I don't think anybody. They're 7-0 right now in the Sun Belt, but good for them. And Iowa State loses to Oklahoma State. UCLA beats Arizona State. A couple small upsets there that in the grand scheme of things don't really matter too much when we're looking forward. But the really big thing here, is these games. The LSU win, the Ohio State demolition of Wisconsin, and Oklahoma losing. Now we're in a situation where, Georgia and Florida did not play this week. Georgia and Florida, both one-loss SEC teams. It's going to be tough. The SEC is always going to be vying to have two teams. Now, if Alabama and LSU meet, and then Alabama has to go and face maybe, say, a Florida in the SEC East and advances, then do you look at LSU? Do you maybe put LSU in there as opposed to Florida? Yeah, it really just depends how that game goes, I suppose. Then you got Clemson as a lock, and then there will be a Big Ten team. I guess if it's I guess if it's Minnesota, if Minnesota runs the table, you could maybe argue that they don't look like a team and somebody else could slip in there. But if it's Ohio State or Penn State, I can't see them staying out. So then Oklahoma, what happens? I don't know. It's going to be interesting coming down. It always is. It always is. But let me know what you guys think. How do you think this week rattles out? What do you think it does the college football playoff? Who are your 4 teams right now that you would say are going to be in? Let us know. Make sure you subscribe, smash the like button, ring the bell for notifications, and I'll talk to you guys later.